Next, we're going to hear from Connor O'Brien from Ciitizen.
Hello, everybody. My name is Connor O'Brien, and I am the Oncology Partnership Manager with Ciitizen, and we are part of the Invitae data platform. Today is an incredible day. Over the past year, I've had the absolute amazing good fortune to work with the CCF team week in and week out. We were brought together with one mission in mind, and it's something that their team has so eloquently laid out prior to this, and that is to drive forward research for cholangiocarcinoma, to drive towards a cure, and above all, to fight back against this monstrous disease. That is the bedrock of our partnership and the reason that all of us have gathered here today. Now, Ciitizen was founded about 5 years ago with one vision in mind: to help patients gather their medical records, to take those medical records and transform them into data that is valuable and that they can use to guide their treatment, to find more options, and to drive forward research and to use in any way that they see fit. And above all, what we would have been driving towards is breaking down the silos that plague our healthcare industry and give patients data that they control and that they have full ownership of. So what is Ciitizen exactly, and what do we do? So for our platform, patients join us, and on their behalf, we will go and request their medical records from any institution that they've received care from. We get these records using HIPAA right of access, and then we gather them in one secure digital location where patients have full access. And then we organize them to make them easily navigable and shareable to whoever they see fit. Here you can see an example of what that looks like for the patient in their patient portal. And this is the digital location. And I'll say what you're looking at is an example of my own patient portal. Now, we don't stop there once we get these records in and once we put it in this format. From there, we put these records into our pipeline. And in our pipeline, we extract the most critical data entities and clinical information from these records. And we put them and we use them in two ways. For patients, we organize them in a chronological breakdown that shows them the entire treatment journey that they have had to date. We showcase what the most critical moments have been in that treatment journey, and then patients can click in to specific moments and see what actually was happening. And here you can see an example of that chronological breakdown right there. But that's not it. On the back end, we use these data entities and we put it in an organized format that is easily available and usable for academics, industry partners, researchers, and any people working towards driving forward research regarding cholangiocarcinoma. Now, this isn't just a product offering for me personally. This is actually a deeply personal item. You see, I actually found Ciitizen when it was in its infancy. I was one of the first 100 patients to actually ever join the platform because I'm actually a rare cancer survivor myself. And when I joined Ciitizen all those years ago, about almost 3 years to date, I was able to gain access to records that I didn't even know I had or that existed and learn things about my treatment journey that I was never fully aware of or informed of, which was it was an incredible patient experience for me and my family. Now, about 5 months ago, Ciitizen was acquired and combined forces with Invitae. And that combination of forces got us a step closer to our ultimate mission, the ability to not only combine clinical records, but also patient-reported data, genetic, genomic, biomarker data, and the things that are absolutely critical for patients themselves in their care journey, but also for researchers looking to dig into the most critical questions facing research and every individual patient disease. Now, this deeply affected me because only a few months ago, I had all of my clinical data that I've had available through Ciitizen for years, combined with my sequencing data, and lo and behold, what did I find? I was actually grossly misdiagnosed. I had a completely different cancer than what I had been treated for. And that had, it was a lot of pertinent information to what my care should have been and what it looks like going forward. To tell you the impact that's had on me individually, my family, my care team, I can't even describe how critical that was for me. Now, my story shouldn't be a singular event. We want these type of services and this type of data to become available for every single patient diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma. So that is why today I am so incredibly excited to talk about and announce the launch of the International Cholangiocarcinoma Patient Registry, which Melinda just touched on. Now, what is this? This is how we can combine our clinical data through Ciitizen and Invitae with a series of short surveys that dig into the most pertinent questions regarding cholangiocarcinoma. And using this, we can create a truly rich and deep data set that will help researchers, academics, and those creating new therapeutics to dive in and accelerate their research and the speed of which they can bring new products to market. And that has been our goal for many, many years. And it's a really special day to finally see that coming to fruition. Now, how does this work? Melinda already touched on it, so I'll be brief, but it's quite easy. Patients go to Ciitizen, where we have a shared landing page walking patients through what they do to walk through Ciitizen, gather their medical records and what the process looks like there. From there, they will be directed to the International Cholangiocarcinoma Patient Registry, where they will have their information brought over. They will take these surveys, and then we'll be able to begin combining these data sets and creating something truly valuable. And I am so thrilled to see how that plays out over the next few months. So I just want to say, for any patients in the audience, or for those either caregivers or no patients, this is now available, so please, anybody and everybody is welcome to join. We're happy to assist live in the booth in the back after this or over the next few days, but we also have a link available for any of it patient to visit. So it's really exciting to begin bringing this to patients. Now, this isn't the only usages that we have for this data. Not only for this combined patient registry, but for also what we do at Ciitizen. Now, I've touched on a few of them briefly. Patients can use their data and their records to give them new perspectives on information to them, their care teams, their caregivers. They can use it to coordinate clinical care. They can use it to get access to research studies or any items that they think it would be valuable to, always with full consent and with their ownership and by their choice exclusively. But another one that I would be remiss not to touch on, because it is something deeply impactful for all rare cancers, but cholangiocarcinoma especially, is clinical trial matching. So right now we offer a service where patients can use their extracted data to get matched with any suitable clinical trial taking place within the US. Now, this service has been a dream of ours for quite a while, and it is still something that we are working on streamlining and scaling. As it stands, patients can expect a little bit of a wait to receive a report, but our dream and what we are working towards each and every day is to get to a point where for every cholangiocarcinoma patient that joins, they very quickly get access to new results and new options to guide their care journey and to find maybe treatments that they didn't know that they had access to. And that has been something we have been working towards for a long time. Now, we're happy to answer any questions about this a little bit after this and when we have the booth session. But before I do that, I want to introduce a very special patient. Lynette, who is sitting up here with us. You see, Lynette was one of the early patients with Ciitizen, and I can say this both as a patient myself, but also as somebody that overviews many thousands of our patient stories. Her story is truly incredible. It's something that has been my great privilege to witness, to hear about, to meet her in person, and help bring to others. So I thought it would be remiss if we didn't bring her up here to talk a little bit about her experience with Ciitizen, what options she found available through us, and her entire journey. So I want to thank you all for your time so much, but please help me welcome Lynette up to the stand.
Hi. Excuse me. Yes, and that was my husband this morning, the caregiver, with pictures I didn't know he was using in the slideshow. But that's okay. I love him. I'm very blessed. I was diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma in October of 2018. I was actually in a clinical trial for an FDA-approved medication drug for diabetes, even though I'm not diabetic, but they were finding it was helpful with AFib, which I do have. So my cardiologist recommended that I go into this trial, and I said, okay, if I can help medical community, all the better. If I can find something that'll help me, bonus. About 4 months into it, I went in and, I'd go in like every 3 to 5 weeks and have blood work done. And I was taking the medication. I don't know if I had the placebo or the actual thing. And I went in and they called me the next day and they said, you know what, some of your numbers on your blood work are way out of line, so we really need to redo this. Well, okay, I just didn't think anything of it. Went in, had it done again, and they called me the next day and they say, you need to see your doctor. I went, oh, she goes, yeah, your liver enzymes are like way off. Okay, not really sure what this all meant. So I went to my family physician, who I've known for, my son's 36, so 34 years. And he had the information. He goes, okay, I want to send you the GI because I want him to, since it looks like it's liver problems, we want to do some tests. So we did some scans and things like that. And I was at the grocery store in the condiment aisle, and my doctor calls me, and it's after hours, but this is not unusual for Dr. Uba. And he calls me and he goes, I don't know how to say this, but to say it, you have cancer. Well, I did finish my grocery shopping, went home. My husband goes, you look upset. I said, let's just get all the groceries put away. He goes, okay. And I said, I have to talk to you. And he goes, what? And I told him what Dr. Uba had said. And he goes, well, shit. I went, yeah. And I said, but we've got to have more tests. They want to do a biopsy to figure out exactly what it is and all that. And he goes, okay, well, whatever it takes. So I went in, I had the biopsy. Are those horrible or what? Oh, they've got to come up with a better way. Anyway, I had that done, and I don't know, within the week, I got a call, and they explained to me, the doctor said, do you want to come in? I said, no, that's fine. You just tell me over the phone. He goes, well, it's cholangiocarcinoma. I said, what? So I had him repeat it 3 times and spell it. And he goes, so what we need to do is we need to get you to an oncologist. I went, okay. So my insurance said you should go see the surgical oncologist since, liver, and they think, well, maybe resection or something. So I went to see, I use the term loosely, doctor, and he said, he looked at everything, goes, well, nothing I can do, so you've got maybe 5 years. Like, what? So went to see my second choice. Much better. They said, probably not curable, but very treatable. I went, okay, this is good. So my journey so far has included 32 sessions of GymSys. Boy, did that kick my butt. Y90 radiation. And I was in a clinical trial, which I found thanks to Ciitizen. Right now I'm on Folfox. I've had 2 stays in the hospital with pneumonia. I had a major gallstone attack in August, and while I was in the hospital and they're basically managing my pain, they said, well, all the specialists came in and said, we really don't want to do surgery. Normally, we would go in and remove your gallbladder, but your largest tumor is sitting right on top of that. And as my husband says, they don't want to blow on the dandelion. So, no surgery for thee. But in 2019, I discovered the foundation, and I was very excited to see the support group and these resources available. And the 2020 conference was virtual, so I attended virtually, and I went into the little vendor exhibit hall, and I was bebopping around, and I found Ciitizen. I went, I like this. My husband and I are big, strong believers that your personal information, be it medical data, pictures of your face, whatever, belong to you, and you should have control of them. So with Ciitizen, to consolidate my medical records and to have everything under my control and for my easy access and for me to share as I want, as I saw fit, was fabulous. It was a great fit. Mikkel is right here, and she has been helping me on this journey, and she has just been a doll. Because, you're trying to get records, and then people are going, oh, I can fax that to you. But she was able to really go after the different doctors, the different labs, and get those records. And she got things that I had never seen before, like Connor mentioned. I'm like, I had this whole report from my primary care physician. I'm like, I couldn't believe the detail in it. Because 8 years ago, I had Guillain-Barré syndrome. So there's 80 pages just on that alone. So it was very exciting. So recently, unfortunately, I had to change oncologists, as my husband mentioned. And after 3 years, that's a scary proposition. But my insurance said, here's your options, and one of them is a wonderful doctor with City of Hope, but he has an office near me. And I went, this is great. So I call them, and they say, I get the authorization, I call them, they go, well, we can't book an appointment until we have your records. I said, no problem, I've got a link, you can download everything. They go, oh no, you have to either bring in hard copies or have everything faxed to you. Well, after 7 doctors, 6 hospitals, multiple different labs, I'm like, oh my gosh. So what I did is I downloaded everything from Ciitizen. My husband at work in the late afternoon when nobody else was really around used the big super printer and started printing things out. So about 4 reams of paper later, double-sided, he brought it home, and it was bundled according to sources. So I put it in my little rolling bag, and I went into the office, and I said, I've got my records so I can make my appointment. They go, okay, well, who's faxing them? I said, oh no, I've got them. So I start putting them on the desk. I got up there. She goes, well, let's book that appointment for you. But it was a little frustrating that with Ciitizen, with City of Hope, I couldn't send them my records. So I reached out to them. I found the director of technology on their website and said, hey, this is kind of frustrating, and it's ridiculous that it's holding up my care and everything else because I can't have an appointment until they have all my records. And I told him about Ciitizen. Well, he was very nice, and he referred me to somebody else, and they replied back and said, oh no, we're very interested. So I think they've started the conversation with Ciitizen, which is great. One of the fun things I've gotten to do is CBS Morning did an interview with Anil, the founder of Ciitizen, and myself. And mine was done at home, so they brought in the cameras and the lights and did the filming there. And they did interviews, and one of the things they want to do was show the stacks of paper. Well, to be perfectly honest, I'd gotten rid of most of the paper because everything was on Ciitizen. So I had files from other groups and organizations, and I think taxes or something going, yeah, here's all my information. But it made the point. In 2021, I participated in a memory-keeping, scrapbooking project by Allie Edwards called One Little Word. And you pick one word, and you kind of focus on that, and how is that going to impact your life and the world about you? Well, I picked the word share, because I felt that I needed to share my stories and my memories with my family. I have 3 adult children, and I'm going to be a grandma in April. I wanted to share my time and my resources as a volunteer, and I want to share my medical records and history to assist research and other patients. And Ciitizen has really helped me with that final goal. And as cholangiocarcinoma warriors, we must advocate for ourselves, but also fight for each other and those who will be diagnosed in the future. So I love this quote: share your knowledge. It's a way to achieve immortality. So I really encourage you to share with this new registry. It's just going to be fabulous to be able to have that much information. Think of the impact that's going to have on research, and that's what we all want. So thank you very much.
So we want to open it up for any questions that you might have for any of us, or anything about Ciitizen that we could answer. And then the one thing I did forget to mention is that if you do go sign up with Ciitizen and join the patient registry out at the booths there, you will be entered into a drawing for more prizes. So just throwing that incentive out there.
First question is always the hardest.
Okay, I'm fine with asking the question. I'm Marisa Wilson. I am a patient, but I'm also a nurse researcher. I deal with a lot of AI, natural language processing, and all the rest. So, have a question. I am also in Ciitizen. Most of my records are in Ciitizen. I think they're still waiting for some others. Is there opportunity eventually to extract data for research purposes, de-identified anonymously in the Ciitizen data pile?
Absolutely. I mean, every day we're working towards expanding our scale and the number of patients that we can bring in for data extraction to support more studies. So we're growing quickly, not quickly enough, always in my opinion, but that is absolutely coming.
Okay, thank you. Good to know.
Yeah, of course.
Fred Neubauer, I'm the mic holder. I'm working duty, but my one question is, after this meeting, can I give Mikkel a hug? She's been invaluable. Thanks.
Mikkel is the rock star at Ciitizen.
I look forward to it, Fred.
Just a quick note, it is free to patients. There is no charge for any of these services. So I forgot to mention that, and I greatly appreciate that Ciitizen has been able to do that for everyone.
Hi, Susan Geiger, one of the sponsors. So thank you for sharing your story. I think it's very impactful for all of us. Your husband and you shared kind of your perspective and your journey as it related to being an advocate for yourself, seeking out other care providers, getting their opinion. And I guess my question is, how does a patient start to do that? How do you get the information to get the name of the physician? I would imagine that many patients struggle with finding those people and gaining that knowledge. So I thought that'd be an interesting.
Start with Google, as silly as it is. I asked my current caregivers, but when I went for my second opinion, one of the things they suggested, they suggested that I check with some of the national, oh gosh, I've gone blank on the name. The hospitals or research centers that are
The NCI designated.
Yes, thank you. Chemo brain, I don't know, how long can we keep using it? So we looked at that, and so we had USC, UCLA, City of Hope, and we thought, well, UCLA seemed to have a really strong program from what we could see on their website. So we went and saw the doctor. Well, Dr. Richard Finn, this is what he specializes in. This is what he does his research on. So very excited. He's been wonderful. He's been my husband would say, the pro from Dover. I've got my regular oncologist that takes care of the day-to-day stuff, the treatments, making sure my quality of life is where I want it to be. And then Dr. Finn is there to take the big stuff. He works with his tumor board. He looks at the clinical trials. And my new oncologist knows him and says, let's not make any changes. Thank goodness. But yeah, I think it's just kind of doing research and sometimes you have to be that annoying fly and keep buzzing in somebody's ear until they give you an answer. So I can be very annoying, I guess, if I need to be.
Persistent.
Persistent, okay, we'll go with it. That's a better word.
So I just want to mention that is the whole reason we created the specialty map, because we wanted to give patients a resource where they could go and look and find physicians who treat cholangiocarcinoma patients. And so we do have the specialty map on the website, and while there's probably not a specialist in every state, especially the smaller rural states, but at least you can see the physicians who are listed, surgeons who are listed, and the hospitals who are listed that have seen and treat a high volume of cholangiocarcinoma patients, are involved in the research and the science, are participate in publications.
Hello, my name is Jack Calloway. My wife unfortunately passed away several years ago from cholangiocarcinoma, but I was wondering if, I saw a footnote on one of your slides, that the Ciitizen's database right now is primarily geared towards, or exclusively geared towards patients. Is there a benefit to making available information about people who've gone through this? And if there is a benefit to that, I know my wife would love for her information to be utilized. What is the conundrum, or what's the regulatory issue, or what are the things we need to do to be able to make that available?
That is a fantastic question, and I was remiss for not making a note of that. But yes, we can absolutely, you can submit your wife's records for the new patient registries. We do have the ability to support posthumous patients, so absolutely.
Okay, we have a couple questions from the virtual platform. So just to make sure I understood correctly, Ciitizen is available for U.S. patients only, right? You want to touch on that?
Yes, so we are expanding and have begun onboarding for select studies and engagements, international patients, and that is something we'll be offering for this patient registry.
Go ahead.
Hi. Question for Ciitizen. How, I'm a cancer patient and also a sponsor, but how do you extract the data, or how are the providers extracting the data to Ciitizen?
For the records itself, or
Yeah, for the records.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an absolutely dream team that we call the Sherpa team, that they have deep relationships with all the major cancer centers, but any institution in the U.S., we can connect with them directly to request any set of medical records. So, for some rare cases, patients are averaging, 4 to 7 treatment centers. So we put in, using the HIPAA right of access, we put in requests for those records and receive them, for we have API ability, we have different methods for securing them, but yeah, we can work with any institution in the US.
So are they faxing it to you then, or is it, I'm just picturing, because I'm picturing my oncologist office, they're always busy, and I'm like, are they faxing that to you? Yeah, I'm just curious how would that go?
Hi, I'm Mikkel. I lead the patient support team, and I'm going to be back at the table if I can help anyone answer any other questions. We do have an API where they can send the records electronically directly to your profile, or as you said, many offices are unable to do that. They will fax the records to an electronic fax that's secure. Some offices do hold records only on paper, and then they would send those to us, and we would scan those in, but that's a rare occasion.
Okay, thanks.
Well, last example I could say for my years ago, in the very beginning, I think I had 3 methods. I had API that provided like some ridiculous 10,000 different pages of PDFs. Then they also sent over discs of my imaging, and I think there was one, which was a smaller rural hospital, that actually faxed over some of my records. So we have abilities for all of them.
Another online question. Would you guys touch on how patients, do they have to keep requesting records every time they go to the doctor?
Yes, the records are not updated continuously. So when you make a record request, the request sits on your profile. You would just log in and click Update Records, and a new request will be sent from then on. It does not automatically update records.
And some of the systems with your doctors or medical groups have where you want to share. Like if you're in like MyChart on the Epic platform or something like that, it says, do you want to share your data? It's a one-time thing. So I'll do that like every 3-4 months, and then just let Mikkel know, hey, this is coming to you, or here's the link, and that you have it. So you do have to kind of advocate for yourself and keep that information going. Ciitizen doesn't know your appointment schedule.
But they do have automatic updates, so you can write, they have a prompt that they'll every quarter or every 6 months they'll prompt you.
At this time, we don't, but we plan on building that, a follow-up email saying if you have updated records, please log in and click update records.
So I just want to let the patients know we've been working on this relationship with Ciitizen for a long time. We were the first nonprofit group to do this with them because we had a vision of what could be done with the data. So when you go into Ciitizen, it takes about 30 seconds for you to register with Ciitizen, and they do all the rest. They are leveraging your patient HIPAA rights, which means those documents have to be, those institutions have to send those documents to them. Under the law, they have to do it in a way that is not expensive. There are all these different things that you have the right to have. And so that's what they're leveraging. They're leveraging your rights as a patient, and you need to know that. The other thing I would say is that when we were working with Ciitizen to get this set up, we were working with our Scientific and Medical Advisory Board, and they worked with Ciitizen. We spent hours and hours figuring out what exactly do they want to see from all of those incoming records. If you had kind of a patient profile and you wanted to send that to get a second opinion or something, what exactly would they want to see there? And then you can click and you can see referring documents and things, which is all very important, but they're the ones telling Ciitizen what they wanted to see. They have all been in the Ciitizen platform. That data is very valuable to them, that aggregate data. They're always asking us questions. Can we pull this from Ciitizen? Can we pull that from Ciitizen? It's the natural history. We hope at some point that we'll have a synthetic control arm for clinical trials from all the patients who are joining Ciitizen. There are a lot of things that can be done. It's a very powerful resource for us, but we have to do it together. And so I just wanted to address are the researchers interested? Yes.
Question.
Go ahead.
Are you ever considering porting patient-reported outcome measures in there that patients can report their own symptomatology or whatever? There are standardized surveys for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
there's a component of that for this registry.
Okay.
And it's also nice because all of your scans are there and you get to see the scans that you have. And, we don't get to really see that unless we're at the doctor's office and they opt to show us the scans. And, as a patient of 12 years, I had a lot of records. And so it's nice to have it all in one place and to be able to see the scans, and the progression of them. Or, I guess, watching my tumor shrink was kind of really cool, too, to be able to see that and go see those different scans. I don't think we have anything else, but go visit these guys. They're happy to help you out there. And it's important to participate in the patient registry to help all patients.